okay, let me ask you honestly. Can you tell me that nobody that grows up in a poor family here in Ghana, nobody.
I mean, no. I mean,
There's people that have made it.
Yes.
So that's evidence that it's possible to make it here in Ghana, full stop. So if you have the intelligence, if you have the will, you can make it. Why do we not encourage that? You see? This is why I say going to the UK in some cases for some people is the easy way out. Because you have the knowledge, you have the talent, you have the possibility to be great in your homeland. But in order to get rich quick, you decide that you want to leave. This is the mindset that doesn't serve Ghana. The business that this young, brilliant man could make in Ghana, that he could eventually be employing 100 Ghanaian people and helping them, you see?
The one in Africa is designed to kill us. It's designed to explode us. Now, we need the West. It is today that you and I are a little smart that we think that we don't need them, but we need them.
We need.
Yes, without them. Yes, you were talking about resources. Bro, 100 years ago, we were living in Ghana with gold. You know, kids were throwing gold to each other, not even knowing what gold is used for. It is a wise man that showed us that gold is actually something that can be used for something. We need them. Without them, there is nothing we can do. As at that time, they came to Africa with a ship. As at that time, the black man hasn't even seen a mirror before, but the white man was able to make a ship to come all the way from Europe.
Narrative that if you get to the UK and you earn £3,000 in a month and pounds back home.
Of course not.
No, you have to feed yourself then. You have to house yourself.
It's the same thing in Ghana. Bro, if you make 800 cities, first of all, your transportation is 300. Take this gone, now it's level 500. Do you know 500 cities is £40? A month, you're a married man, you have a wife, you have 3 kids. They go to school Monday to Friday. When each kid is going to school, you need to give them 25 cities. I'm talking about the reality on the ground, things that is happening now. It's good to be inspired, it's good to be motivated, but go and speak to the taxi driver, go and speak to the truck mate, go and speak to the taxi, go and speak to them.
So this is the idea. The idea is that you're gonna go over there, you're not gonna suffer, and you're gonna send money here or whatever. It's false. It's false. There's people struggling. There's people that have committed suicide because they do not know how they're going to make it. You see, it's not as simple as just landing there in the UK, sending the application off, and you've made it.
So that is the reason why I'm encouraging people not to stay here. I get it. It's good to think about people, but why? First of all, my wife is hungry. My children are hungry. Why do I think about you and your house? I need to think about myself first. My house is shaking and I'm now going to think about I'm now going to think to be a good Ghanaian youth. First of all, my wife hasn't eaten. My son is hungry. I need to think about myself. What is the way? It should be in Germany cleaning the toilet.
Hello guys, and welcome back again to another amazing episode. And this is the Diaspora Transition episode where we interview diasporans who decided to leave the diaspora and currently living here on the continent. You know, either being Ghana, Gambia, you know, all over Africa basically. And today we do have something a little different. You know, if you've been on this channel, you know that we did a debate between a diasporan, Daniel, and then Jeffrey. You know, the topic is, you know, Daniel believed that Africa is the future and you can make your wealth. There's so much opportunities here. And then on the other hand, Jeffrey believed that he needs to go to the UK, US, you know, before he can get his greener pastures. And he believed that he can make more money by going to the, you know, US, and Daniel disagreed. So it was a very, you know, nice conversation, a dialogue, and you guys said you are very interested in that. So one thing that I want to do is to be able to, you know, have this engagement going between the diaspora to learn from each other. So today, listen, I had someone reach out to me after the first episode. I got a lot to say, and he goes by the name K. He's been on the show. He moved from the UK with his family down here to Ghana, and we are on a journey on changing the, you know, the narrative that they have here in Ghana, and also changing Jeffrey's mind for him to believe that it's actually possible to make it here in Ghana. So if it's something you're interested, stay tuned. So without further ado, Kay, welcome on the show.
Thank you, bro.
And Jeffrey, welcome back again on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. So guys, Akwaba, okay, we this is going to be an education episode. We are learning, okay, as I said. But we got to challenge ourselves a bit. We are brothers and sisters here. Yeah. But I feel like there's so many perspectives that needs to be brought to light in order for people to see where the mindset is. You know, we want to be able to see your mindset coming from the UK. Jeffrey, we want to be able to see how you think and why you think, you know what I'm saying? And to, you know, learn from each other. So introduce yourself briefly to the people watching you for the first time, who you are, where you came from, and yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so my name's Kay. Kayode is my full name. And yeah, I was born and raised in the UK, but I've moved my family here to Ghana. I see the potential in Africa. Growing up in the UK, I think there's so much negative perception that's projected to you about Africa, about what Africa is capable of, but you also see how much the UK and Europe benefit from Africa. So for me personally, I decided to do some research and soul searching and find out what it is in Africa that everybody else can see that we Africans cannot see. And when I started to get into that, it made me realize that there's no better place for me as an African to be than here in Africa. So that's just a little bit of...
And that's why you came to Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into that, Jeffrey, introduce yourself to the people watching you for the first time. Now, I know you've been on this channel for how many times?
Like
3 times now, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, no one knows who you are. Reintroduce yourself, and let's take it from there.
Yeah, I'll make it very simple. My name is Jeffrey. I am the guy who says we should all leave Africa and go find our greener pastures from the West. So I'm very happy to be here on this channel. Hayford is my longtime friend, and he knows who I am. So we are here.
And I've been trying to change his mind for a very long time, and I'm not succeeding. Okay, so you know, okay, you move. Obviously, you've seen something on the continent, like you said earlier on. But he believed that there's greener pastures in the UK and everybody has to go there. What do you have to say to that, though?
Well, first I just want to ask a question, because my perspective is I don't want to come here and interrogate you on why you believe I want to understand why you believe what you believe first, so that then we can discuss and come to a common ground someplace. So my first question is, do you genuinely believe that for the average African it's impossible to become successful whilst in Africa? You have to leave to become successful. That's my first question.
Yeah, for the average African, it's quite impossible to make it here in Africa.
On what grounds? What makes you believe that it's not possible? Give the reasons.
So I always say, I like to deal with the fact and reality. Like it's good to motivate ourselves.
Yeah.
It's good to be inspirational, but let's look at the reality on the ground. It's real. How many Africans even have access to good internet? How many Africans have access to good water? How many Africans have access to a 3 square meal, to a quality life, to even improve themselves first before even improving their environment? It's just a few. It's just a few of us who were privileged even from our childhood. And you know, it's funny how the whole of Africa, it's only the capital cities that are developed. For example, Ghana, when you take Accra, the capital city, yes, you will see a lot of nice things. So many people are in Accra, they think that is Ghana. Bro, go to the other regions, see for yourself. You see how life really is for Africans. Like, you know, these corruption is everywhere. It's everywhere in the world. But you know, the one in Africa is designed to kill us. It's designed to explode us. Corruption is everywhere, like I said. Like, for example, in the UK, I hear there are so many taxes. I believe the white man is also paying the tax. The black man is also paying. So it's corruption. They are using the tax for maybe some ambulance or beautiful streets. Maybe there is some children who are going to school for free, having healthcare for free. I mean, there are so many benefits. Let's come to Ghana. There is corruption. Our leaders say they take our tax. Have you seen the roads? Yes.
I felt them as well.
Exactly. So you will buy a very beautiful car, less than 6 months, it's damaged. He can attest to that. So this is Ghana. Nothing is designed for your benefit, unless maybe you were already there. And for you, the diasporans, I get you. You see, you guys already have some advantage, unlike those of us who were born here.
What is the advantage?
So for example, if this guy and a guy I know called Opoku from my area are supposed to go for a job interview in Ghana, he's going to be called the next day to start the job, and Opoku will never be called. Why? 1, he is from Abuja. 2, his accent, he speaks good English. Meanwhile, Opoku may be even very good at the work, but he'll be favored. This is Ghana. So it's like me, I convert that to the same way as racism. So maybe in London, the white man won't pick the black man, but he will pick the white man. In Ghana, the Ghana man will pick the diasporan, but won't pick the normal local Ghanaian. And the system, like I say, to conclude, is designed to kill us. It's designed to suppress us in every form, financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, educationally, if that is the right word to say. The system is made to suppress us everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I understand that there's going to be prejudice, especially for the average person here. Like that example you said about the job. Like you said, but that's based off of, like you said, my English. Now, if you're, let's say we're doing business, you know, let's say it's a bank or whatever, my English might be a benefit for that job. That's one situation. But to say that for that reason, all Africans need to leave Africa to you know, better their life, that's dramatic. That buys into their narrative, because you see, the same way all of their resources that they used to be great in the West come from Africa. Whether you want to talk about Apple, all these technology companies, Silicon Valley is built off of Africa. With no Africa, there's no Silicon Valley. There's no billions in stock of Apple. And the same resources that they're taking out of the ground, now they're taking our human resources, you see. And when we come with that narrative of Africans can't make it in Africa, we all must leave and go to Europe, we're draining our homeland of our human resources that are the only way that we can get to that stage. You see the life that you're talking about in the UK, where school is free, healthcare is free, life is a bit peaceful. We can have that here. All we need to do is take control of what is ours. What we're letting people have for free and for cheap, when we start charging the correct price, we can afford to do all of that here. That's what we're trying to say. Me, as a diasporan, coming to Ghana, if I found out that I got the job purely because I'm a diasporan, it would be disappointing. But the whole idea of diasporans coming back to Africa is to change things. Not to say that we're coming here to take over, but we're coming here to bring positive change. We've seen what life can be like over there. We've seen how easy some things can be. And the idea is that we're supposed to come here and implement these things at home. Like, I don't know how you feel about that, but I think that's a much more beneficial and productive mindset for us to have as Africans. Rather than us sending more of ourselves over there, why don't we call for the people that are over there already to come back and bring their skills and professions and knowledge and experience to Africa and, you know, make this place great? Because all the money, all the resources that other people are using to become great start off here. All we have to do is charge the right price. And
why do you think we don't see the opportunities here, though?
I think we don't see the opportunities here because that's the way things are marketed to us. Yeah. At the end of the day, marketing is a big thing in this life. I feel like the reason why Africans want to go to the West is because of what's been marketed. A job, more money, easier life, that's marketing. Because when you actually get there now, you'll find a lot of our Ghanaian, Nigerian, African brothers living in desperate situations.
What are some of the desperate situations?
Oh, you could go to the toilet somewhere and you could see an African man, 70 years of age, working, cleaning the toilets.
In the UK?
You know, in the UK.
Now, you hear this?
Yeah.
Okay,
No, this is the reality. I'm not even embellishing or making things. And to be honest, over there, it makes me sad to see, because I understand that you see elderly people working here in Ghana, but for someone to have uprooted their life, come out of their community, come out of their family network for the idea of a better life, and at the age of 70 years old to be working, cleaning toilets, it's sad. It's sad when you understand the way that our culture is, our values here. If you're 70 years old and you have family, there's a high chance that you're going to be taken care of. Even if you're not living in a mansion, even if you're, you know, not rich, people will use what they have to take care of you. You have that respect that you're supposed to have as an elder. Over there, it's not quite the same. And I think these are some of the things that we don't realize we're losing when we make the decision to leave. We don't realize that we're giving up on our culture, our values. And that's some of the things that's most important. The reason why Europeans have built the system that they have is because they maintained their cultural values. They maintained their sense of brotherhood, to be honest with you. And that is why they will work together before they work with us here, you know? The idea that me coming and getting a job because I'm a diasporan, as much as it's bad, I'm an African here in Africa. The money that I make is going to be spent in Africa. The house that I build is going to be built in Africa. You have Europeans coming here to set up businesses, paying the people here terrible wages, and all of the profits are leaving the continent. It would be so much better if we had Africans doing these things, you know. Whether it's a diasporan coming over with his advantage to set up a business here and employ Ghanaians or Nigerians, Africans in general, you know, and actually drive the economy. That's what we need to focus on, you know.
Okay, so I would like to go into details. I think all this while I just speak on the surface. So today I decided to go into details. Now, talking about details, before I go there, things being dramatic, like you getting the job, that isn't really the case. The case is there are no chances. For example, let's take football, for example. There are so many beautiful, talented, young brothers and sisters in Ghana. Bro, I play soccer myself and I know what I'm saying. Very, 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 very talented. And it's sad, but I must say, none of these talents are going to go far. They are all going to end up doing something else. I'm an example. I used to love soccer when I was a kid. But look at me now. I'm here making a video for YouTube. Where's the soccer dream? So that is one example. Now, we need the West. It is today that you and I are a little smart that we think that we don't need them, but we need them.
We need.
Yes, without them. Yes, you were talking about resources. Bro, 100 years ago, we were living in Ghana with gold. You know, kids were throwing gold to each other, not even knowing what gold is used for. It is a white man that showed us that gold is actually something that can be used for something. We need them. Without them, there is nothing we can do. As at that time, they came to Africa with a ship. As at that time, the black man hasn't even seen a mirror before, but the white man was able to make a ship to come all the way from Europe to
You think
Africa.
white man made the first ships?
I mean, who made the first ship?
Who do you think it... Listen,
I'm not talking about the white man. I'm talking about the European.
European, okay.
Yes.
On that point, exactly. If you want to talk about shipbuilding, traveling, you understand that before the Europeans ever had the resources and the knowledge to come to Africa and do anything, the Moors spent 700 years ruling them in the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal. Yeah. When they arrived, these people, not even to be rude, these people didn't know how to bathe. They weren't using soap. They weren't eating 3 square meals a day. All of these things were brought to them by the Moors, North Africans. You see? So what I'm trying to tell you is that before they ever had a chance to come and take advantage of us or do anything to us, we taught them. We gave them the tools. The ships that we used to cross from Africa to the Iberian Peninsula, that's exactly what they engineered to come back across, you know. This whole narrative that, you know, Christopher Columbus is the first European to travel across the ocean and reach Africa or reach the South Americas, it's what's been fed to you. When it comes to the actual facts, you realize that Africans have been traveling this world for millennia. So we need to read. One thing that we don't do as Africans, we don't find out for ourselves. We take what the European tells us at face value. And even if they're telling us something negative about ourselves, we will take that at face value rather than doing the research, rather than trying to find out the truth, because they have everything to gain from making you think that you're nothing and that you can never be anything without them. You have everything to gain from doing the research to find out that the same tools they used to keep you down are the tools that you gave them to survive. So just on that point of the ships and everything like that, that's one small area, but it transcends. It's so deep. It is so deep, even down to things like religion. You know, the idea that they came and gave us Christianity is false. It's false. Christianity, if you go back, you will see that Africans were practicing Christianity long before Europeans were. The truth is, tools that we have given to them have been now weaponized and used against us to keep us down. That's the truth of it, bro.
Okay, so let's talk about Gold Coast.
Gold Coast.
Now we are in Ghana.
Yeah.
Gold Coast. For example, religion. right now we are practicing the Western form of religion. Yes, it's controlling us. Me, for example, I don't believe with that kind of system. I mean, religious system. I believe in African traditional religion.
I respect that, bro.
Right. It's true, but coming to the fact that I'm saying that we need them is actually the truth. Let's look around and be real. Almost 90% of the things we use, especially here in Ghana, are not even made here. Yes, we have the resources, but the how, we don't even know. We don't have the materials to do what we have to do to survive. Even in Ghana, we haven't been able to make even a cell phone. And we don't have the resources. We don't even have the support to get there. Nobody is going to support us. Who? Even if you are so talented, who is going to support you? Nobody. So you end up being where you are. But for example, if you were in an advanced country, wouldn't you agree that you would have the platform if you had such potential, such talent? Because I've seen people, for example, in China, who could do the smallest thing. And the moment they discover that, they take them to the next level, and then boom, there is an electric car in China. Boom, there is this. Boom, there is that. So we don't have the support system. That is what I'm saying. We are okay. We have the resources. Ghana is one of the countries that produces the biggest number of gold in the world, and there are so many Ghanaians who haven't even seen gold before. Like there are so me, for example, I haven't seen real gold before, but I live in Ghana, so-called Gold Coast, because this is the system. It's designed against me. It's never going to work for me. You see?
Sorry.
No, wait,
okay,
wait.
Sorry.
For example, if this was my establishment, somebody, maybe a minister, a landguard or area man, or somebody, a senior man who is a police officer or a military man can just go and see the land titles and say, yo, I can see this land belongs to a young boy. I want to take this money, get it from me. And it happens. The next month, they come and tell you you need to evacuate the land or the property belongs to someone else. Bro, do you really think that this can happen on a normal day? It's happening. Like, it's happening every day. People in power, people with a little authority, with a little money are taking things, and the law and the system won't work for you. So when it happens, you just keep quiet and move forward. And it's suppressing us. So talking about the reality, when you go to the street, like, reality, when you go to the street, when you go to Kaneshi or Doko, Bubuashi, like, people are going through. It's happening. It's something that is real. People are suffering, and all these people can have a better life if they were not probably in Ghana. So talking about a 70-year-old man who is working in the bathroom, bro, go to Bono and see an 85-year-old man carrying plantain from one junction to the other, and he's going to make only 10 cedis the whole week. The whole fucking week. I believe maybe that 70-year-old man cleaning the toilet is making maybe, let's say, how much? 7 pounds, 8 pounds, 9 pounds. Isn't it good? Most of our uncles living in UK are able to pay for their children's fees, pay for their rent. Meanwhile, if they were in Ghana, they wouldn't be able to do it because their age mates are carrying plantains from the other junction to the other, and they can't take care of home. So I have uncles who are in UK who are able to take care of their kids' education, even able to build, who wouldn't be able to do that if they had stayed in Ghana.
But you see, this is my point. Like you said, people are suffering. It's the system is designed against them.
Yes.
And we need to ask the root questions. Who implemented this system? Why do we have this system that is designed against the everyday person here in Africa? And the truth is, these systems have been put in place a long, long time ago. Not by ourselves, by Europeans. When they came here, they saw wealth. When they came here, they saw people living in majesty. They saw the royals. They saw their royal families and things like that, and the wealth at their disposal. The average people not having to work in such a monotonous way, 9 to 5, day in, day out. Life was more free. They saw what we had here, and they were jealous. They were jealous that the average person, whether you were, in the government, whether you was a king or not, you had what you needed to survive and thrive. And that's why they came here in their droves, to try and monetize this continent. To just forget about all of that and then focus on the fact that now it's difficult for people in Africa to make it big. It's like you're completely looking past the cause of everything and you're focusing on the final result. What we need to do as Africans is now do our research and figure out why it is this way. You know, the Europeans, they came here, they monopolized resources, they pit people against each other to gain access to us, to gain access to these resources, and then they use it to make themselves great. All we need to do is sit down and think, okay, if they were able to use our resources to make themselves great, why can we not use our own resources to make ourselves great? It's not difficult. Like you said we need them because they can make the computers, they can make this, that, and the third. When you go back and you study and you see, so many of these inventions that you attribute to the white man were made by black people. In America, there's so many inventions that were created by black people. However, they had their liberty stripped from them. So you're a genius, but unfortunately, you've been captured. You're a slave under somebody. So whatever you make belongs to that man. These people, Thomas Edison, for example, he was not the greatest thinker that ever existed. He had access to people that were great thinkers, and he monetized their thoughts and their innovations. And this is what we need to start understanding as African people. It's not always been a thing of there's a genius white man over there that's come to Africa, seen gold dust on the floor and found out how to monetize it. When Mansa Musa, when he went around and he showed the Europeans what he had, that's what made them realize what is here. First, the thing that made them realize that Africa is great is Africans being great. They saw the greatness of Africans and they wanted it for themselves. So they came to Africa and they devised a way to gain access and a way to manipulate us into giving them access. That's the truth of it. I understand that life is difficult now, but the fact is life was great once before and it will be great once again the minute that we switch on, do you know what I mean? And take ownership of ourselves again, man.
You made a very significant point, talking about so many black people being the inventors of things. Doesn't it sound so funny that there is no major invention in Africa, but it is Africans who are so-called making the inventions? No, I mean, what is the major invention we as Africans have done? I'm ready to learn. What is the major invention that we have done in Africa, not somewhere? All these things were able to happen because they were living in a country with a working system. But as Africans in Africa, what is the invention or an inventor who invented something in Africa, which is now everywhere in the whole world, being it clothes, machines, software? I want to learn, so I'm asking. Because even they say it is a black man who did the bulb, it is a black man who did the water closet, it is a black man who did that. Where did they do it? They did it there, right? Yes, but they were here. Are we not blacks here? Why are we not doing it? But the moment we get there, we're able to do it because it is a working system. It will bring it out of you. So
but then why don't you stay and make that working system? That's what I'm trying to say. Bro, why are you telling everybody to leave the country while you can stay and sacrifice to make the working system for everybody else?
Before you go, how many videos do we see with this SHS students doing these toys, and how does it go? You just see a video, after 2 days it's gone. But this young boy should be in China and see the system will push him. Before you know, 2 years time, boom, it's a big company.
This system that you're talking about, bro, this system is built from the resources gained in Africa. I understand what you mean. There's not the system or the infrastructure to support geniuses that we have here. And one thing, let me ask you one question. You can confirm. We have geniuses here, no?
Exactly.
To spare. To spare. I'll just go around the corner there and I'll find a boy that there's something inside this guy that nobody can even explain. It's like it came from God.
But he'll be there forever.
Because the system hasn't been built to show his greatness to the world. Why do we not spend our time to build this system? Why are we encouraging ourselves to leave and make their system greater? The same system that's being used to keep us down. Because you realize the minute we as Africans rise up, the rest of the world suffers. The trillions that the UK is making, the trillions that's in their GDP, is built off of the resources that they're taking in Africa. You go to Congo now, there's children that cannot have a fruitful future because there's war. Now you need to go into the reasons why there's war. The reason why there's war is because if Congo is stable and it's being led by people who have the best interest of the Congolese people at heart, all of these people, like I said, Silicon Valley, Apple, Samsung, companies in China, they don't have access to the resources anymore, or they don't have access to the resources at cheap prices. You know, war suffering in Africa is opening the door for resources to be exported out of Africa behind closed doors, and that is what's making them great. My point here is not to argue and say that, oh, as things are right now, it's great and we should all come back here and enjoy life as it is now. No, we need to come back here and build a system that's going to allow us to be great and enjoy our greatness here. Why should you, as a Ghanaian man, why should you have to leave the land of your fathers to go and have a fruitful life? It don't make sense. It don't make sense. I understand that it's difficult to sit down in a situation that's not benefiting you and watch other people over there live a different type of life that you want to live. But the truth is, if we come together and have ourselves, our interests, our children's and grandchildren's interests at heart, it only makes sense for us to come and use our energy to make this place great. You know, you can go to the UK, you can go to Africa as a grown man, knowing who you are, knowing your culture, and yeah, you can make money and be fine. And if people are racist to you, you can let it bounce off of you because you've had the benefit of growing up in your own culture. You know, you stand firm in what you know of who you are. But you have your 1-year-old child now in the UK, and then when they're 4 or 5 years old, send them to school into a system that knows they have to keep that boy down, wanting to be a European in order for him to never want to, you know, go and gain true independence in his home country that they're pillaging. You know, it's a paradox for a lot of us, because it's like, do we make the decision now to just go over there, take the easy option and have a fruitful life, or do we make the hard decision to maybe come back home, maybe not enjoy as many of the privileges that people are enjoying over there, but set the framework so that our grandchildren or great-grandchildren can have an even better quality of life here than they can over there? That's the question we need to start asking now. Because for me personally, I've made a decision to come to Ghana. I may not be a millionaire in my lifetime. God willing, I will be, so I can share the blessing. But even if I'm not, I'm trying to set a framework so that my children can be great in their home. Because why would you want to go to you know, I always say this example. If you grow up in your father's house and the ceiling, it has holes in it, the rain is falling in, the walls are crumbling down, and then you see across the road, there's another man there, he has a nice strong house. You know, would you truly rather go and live in a stranger's house just to have a solid roof and solid walls, or would you rather spend your life fixing your father's house that you know is yours, that you know is going to be yours one day and you're going to send on for your children? That's the questions we need to start asking ourselves as Africans.
To answer that question,
yeah,
you forgot the part where your father himself is breaking the bricks of the foundation of the home himself. So every day he's breaking it. Every day. So yeah, I'll come to that. Every day he's breaking a part of the building that might break and fall on you. So again, our leaders, like I said, they are all corrupt. I believe Joe Biden and his people are corrupt. Yes, Ghana's president and his people are corrupt. But one corruption is hurting the people more than the others. At least one corruption is giving somebody a normal life, a system to go by, but the other corruption is only thinking about he himself and his nuclear family. What happens to me today, Nanado doesn't care. He really doesn't care. Like what is happening in this district, he doesn't care. Nobody cares. Anything can happen.
But you know, there are African leaders who stood to make a change that also got assassinated.
And yeah, and their fellow Africans assassinated them.
And who set that emotion? Who set that emotion?
But so I really wanted to have the opportunity to say this when the other guy was speaking about racism. How many black people kill black people in UK and in America?
Yeah, but
how many black people killed black people?
You're talking about the result. You're not talking about the full story. Black people, yes, black people kill black people, but you know, white people kill white people as well. Exactly. At the end of the day, we're human beings. We're human beings, and human beings have disagreements. Human beings have hatred, you know, and just because we're black, it doesn't mean that we're exempt from that. And the fact that we as black people always jump on the fact that, oh, black people kill black people, to make excuses for us to leave our country, for us to not take care of our own responsibilities, is contributing to the problem. When in England, yeah, when you have a white man kill a white man, you don't get all the white people saying, you know, this is why we're this or that. You know, white people killing white people. They understand that Human beings have disagreements and human beings do things. Now, in regards to black people killing black people, we need to go deep into it. Why do black people in the West, for example, why do they feel feelings of resentment toward their own? What is it about their life experience? What is it about what they've been exposed to that makes them feel more inclined to cause harm to their own than to somebody else? You see? And this is the systems that we're talking about that have been put in place, you know? You understand that the whole concept of slavery was only made possible because they first dehumanized black people. You see that? Have you heard of the saying that a black person is, what was it, 3/4 or of a human being? They genuinely, in schools, in university, they were teaching people that black people were not full human beings. And now we're going over to their land, even though this is the foundation of what they've been educated on, you know? They were educated that we were not full human beings. So we run to their land now, and their people have that internalized, that we're not full human beings. I know today things have started to change a little bit because we've forced it. We've gone over there and they've seen our brilliance and they've seen what we can do, and they understand, and they're threatened a lot of the times because they realize that what they've been told is not real, it's not true. But the whole point of it is we can't beat ourselves with their stick that they made. They created this narrative that we are less than, and that is what when we go over there, that's what we internalize and we perpetuate, you know? Here in Ghana, I understand there's probably some people that harm each other, but I'll be honest with you, I really do not hear as much violence as I do in the UK. In the UK, today, there's a chance that young boys have been killed. Today. And when you look at why they're killing each other, it's for nothing. In Ghana, I understand it's hard, and as hard as it is, even though the life is harder in Ghana, the people are not so hateful towards one another. And the difference is they haven't grown up in a civilization that perpetuates that thought in them from young, you see? So that's why I made my point of you as a grown man going to Europe, going to China or whatever, you know who you are, you can stand firm in that, but they get the children young. You go over there and you have a baby, and your baby, you send them to school now in their system, you see, the teachers have their way of interacting with your child. If you have a son, he's more likely to be expelled from school than all the other kids because he's a black male, you see? All these different little things, these are factors that are in reality.
Now, you do have a son, right?
Yeah.
How would you feel if your son go to school and come back one day and say he was called a monkey at school? How would you react to that?
I feel bad, but there is no difference if he goes to school here in Ghana. Well, what is so different? What is it that they will do to him in UK that they won't do to him in a Ghanaian school?
Okay, can I tell you exactly what?
Yeah, I want to know.
In a Ghanaian school where all of the children have the same phenotype as you, we're all Africans. No one is going to make you feel less than based off of your physical appearance, based off your biological existence.
It's a lie.
How? So for example, if I went to school in Ghana, people would be calling me black this, black that. You're black, so
I'll explain that.
Please do, please.
So, I don't know how well you know Ghanaians, but in a typical Ghanaian school, there is something called fresh boy, fresh girl. So that kind of discrimination, it's happening here.
What's fresh boy, fresh girl?
So there is somebody who doesn't look nice. There's somebody who looks nice. Everybody wants to play with the one who looks nice.
That is even still a construct of the same narrative. The lighter your skin, the more prettier you are.
The closer you are in proximity to a European ideal.
So what if I tell you that the way of thinking that we think here is still, it was manufactured for us to think like how we think in order for us to be poor as we are now? What would you say to that?
We have our free will to think.
No, you don't.
We do. I mean, we do.
I don't want to
we have decided, for example, we have decided to follow the religion, to follow the educational system, to follow that. We have decided.
Yeah, but you say that.
Africans
you say that.
Have decided.
You say that, but your ancestor that was the first one to convert, for example, away from his African traditional spirituality, it wasn't always by free will, you know. Some of these people were literally forced to convert by threat of death. Huh?
How about now? How now?
Yeah, and now we're living in the circumstance. If your father was are your parents?
They're Christians.
They're Christians. Yeah. So what was it about your experience that made you decide to follow African spirituality?
So, from the beginning of this video, I was talking about the reality. I'm talking about the reality. So in Ghana here, I don't know if you've heard about it. You can go to the shrine and leave your phone, your wallets, and leave a stash of money in your chair. Go out and come the next 3 days and your money will still be there. In church, keep your wallets in a Ghanaian church. Go to the washroom and come back. It will be gone, but it's happening in a church. So this is the reality that is happening. So I saw this and I was like, no, there is nothing here. It's a lie. Because the so-called God and blah, blah, people don't even scare and fear it. But you can't do this in a shrine because we know what is there. We know the power that is there. We know what will happen.
Spirituality is a shrine.
It's African tradition.
African. So that is the real truth. And then the Christian is the lie, you would say. So then if you are telling you that our true Africans is the way, then why you believe you have to go to Europe? You know,
So it's the reality.
what is the reality?
Look at the reality we are here
But
now.
you see, reality.
Contradicting yourself.
No.
You see-
This is the reality we are in now. Hayford. So
Okay, let's
you are fortunate to be driving in a car. I'm fortunate to be driving in a
I don't
car.
have a car.
Well, but how many youth in the UK can afford a flight to Italy, to Germany for vacation?
Do you know there are white people who are poor in Europe? Then?
I
Do you know
mean,
that, right?
there are
So
poor people everywhere.
look, I think we have to give us the perspective of the average, not even skin color complexion, but the average European lifestyle in Europe. Is everybody rich there? You guys sitting on gold there?
I mean, people, even white people, are suffering in Europe as well.
of
You
course.
know, they're suffering there.
Of course.
And the idea that just by the very fact of stepping in Europe, your opportunity to have a greater life is, skyrocketed. That's not true. Go and speak to the white British people that are living in council estates that cannot see the light. They cannot see the way to a better life because due to their position in that council estate, due to their position as poor people, they don't have access to the tools to now create wealth for themselves. People in Ghana, for example, that are poor, that have had the benefit of being given tools to create wealth, they rise through the system. Same way over there, some people that are lucky enough to be given the tools, they rise through the system. We're focusing on the place rather than the mentality that helps people transcend their situation. Why can we not bring that mentality here? This is what I'm saying. It's not about just upping and leaving. That's quitting. That's quitting.
Now, do you know education was restricted back in the days during slavery from, black people like yourself? So that you cannot learn in order to achieve some certain kind of knowledge that would make you use the resources around you to create wealth for yourself. Do you know that?
Who restricted the education?
I mean,
Colonialists,
Yes.
slave masters,
So
people
now
were
that
killed for
you have-
reading.
So what were we learning? What were they stopping us to learn?
So
Well,
let's talk about.
Let's just
No, I want to learn that.
on a simple level, purely for reading. It doesn't matter what you're reading. Some people were beaten to within an inch of their lives or killed for reading. It doesn't matter what you're reading. It doesn't even matter if you're reading rubbish. The very fact that you are reading, because they understood, if you can read, all that needs to happen now is for you to come across something beneficial, and you have the access to gain knowledge. And with knowledge comes wisdom. With wisdom comes the ability to change your life. This is the point of what we're making now. It's not necessarily that they even had to hide the books from people. They just stopped people having the basic skills to even utilize books in the first place. You see? So this is the systems that we're talking about. Why would we be in a rush? Why would we be in a rush to push our people to go and live in that place that's been built off of that? You realize, if it wasn't for them making so much effort to stop the black man, black woman, black child being able to educate themselves and raise themselves up out of their situation, they would not have what they have. You see what I'm saying? The reason why the people, why they can take all the resources out of the Congo is because the people are so preoccupied with survival that they do not have the time to advocate for their rights and to advocate for their resources. You see, the minute you stop the wars that are influenced by these people, no less, the minute you stop these wars, the minute you give the people peace, all of a sudden people have time to study, people have time to innovate, people have time to read and learn. And this is what we're saying. Us as Africans going over there feeds into their system. We go over there, we work there, we pay taxes there, we give them our money, we make them rich. Why not stay? Why not? For me, for example, my parents moved to the UK. I didn't have a choice to be born in the UK. My parents moved there before I was born. I was born and raised there. And luckily, as a result of being there, like you said, things like the internet connection, having access to the internet allowed me to research, to go and find out things that they didn't want me to necessarily find out. I went to school and learned history, and they told me that black people were slaves, and that was it. You see what I was talking about, the Moorish people ruling in the Iberian Peninsula for 700 years. That's not the curriculum. They will never teach you anything that tells you Africans were ever great, but they will hyper focus on the idea that black people were slaves. Because when you grow up as a child and that is what's implanted in your mind, it sets a ceiling on what you believe you're capable of, you know? And that is what we're trying to tackle now. The way that we can rise out of this situation is by taking control of our own narrative. And when you go over there in your boats loads and shiploads, you are going into their narrative, you see? So the only way for us to truly rise and be able to enjoy life in our own home is for us to stay here. We need a period of incubation again. We need a period of incubation where even if it may take us a bit longer to set certain things up, it's worth doing because you could have millennia of peace and happiness here. What's the point in just taking the easy way out? Me, I want to have a better life. So I'm gonna throw away my heritage. I'm gonna throw away my birthrights and go over there and enjoy a better life for what? 60 years. And then the next person here, suffering, millions suffering. Rather than us coming together and deciding that no, even if this generation isn't gonna be rich and get to drive a Ferrari and drive a Lamborghini and live in a penthouse, the next generation can if they want. And the generation after that. This is what we need to start thinking. Black man, we like to think about me. Like you said, the same black man that's taking the bricks out of the house and pushing the holes in the roof. What do you think we're doing by giving up on our homeland and going over there? We're not making the roof any stronger.
Now you moved your family out of that system, but he said he's gonna take. You said you want to secure your children to have that.
Yeah, one of the best gifts you can give your family, your wife and your kids as a Ghanaian man is taking them outside Ghana.
Then there's a limit with the racism and all those things. So you hearing that, what are you reconsidering that thought or?
No. So I think you guys are not paying attention to the reality I'm talking about. You see, I'm speaking and I know Ghanaians. I know friends of mine. I know uncles of mine. I know brothers, cousins of mine who were in Ghana, who had nothing, were nobody, but are now in Germany. Yeah, maybe they are taxi drivers, they are cleaning, but they are able to fetch for their family. They're able to cater for their family. They lived in Ghana for 35 years and couldn't do shit. They've been in Germany for 3 years. They've started building a home. Now his wife, his children have a place to sleep. They can go to some of the best schools. And he was in Ghana for 30 years. They were living in someone's single one-bedroom self-contained. The question I have for you is, maybe my little brother is 25. He's a singer, or he's a footballer, or he's a software engineer. What can he do for himself to better himself or to better Ghana? How, if you have any suggestion, how we the youth are supposed to make Africa better for us? How? What do you suggest?
Okay, and this is where my point comes in. You can't look at a 20-year-old, for example, to fix the problems of Ghana. They have people before them, and this is the people that we're trying to appeal to. Like I said, we've got millions of people that have already done this, have already left, you see, and the idea is that rather than encouraging more of us to just leave, why don't we encourage those of us that have left? Like you said, you got uncles that can now build here. You got uncles that can now do things here. Why don't we encourage them to come back?
That is the point.
Yeah, but
no. So that is my point all as well. So if like right now, as I'm 28, I'm able to leave Ghana. I go and stay in where?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
UK,
Netherlands,
for example.
UK for 10 years. I'm able to build, now find a business, yeah, then it's good to come. But if you stay here all your life, bro, it's not going to work. You're not going anywhere.
But this is
but it's true, it's the reality.
I understand, because this is the thing.
True.
And this is why I wanted to talk to you, because I understand where you're coming from. Since I've moved here, you know, I've spoken to people, you know, you've been in the boat or the taxi, and the people tell you how much they're earning. And for me, coming from there, I'm like, I couldn't live off of that. I could not. But this is the point we need to start changing things, because like you said, what's happening now, people are coming, for example, they're setting up a business and they're thriving. The business that they're making is even enough to make them be able to sustain a life in Europe, in the money they're making in Ghana, but they're still going to pay someone 70 CDs a day. That's what I'm saying. We need to change our mindset as Africans, because why can my business make 10,000 CDs a day? I have 5 people working for me and they're all on 70 CDs a day. You see?
Well,
this is a problem with a mentality. It's not a problem with resources or access to resources. That's what I'm starting to realize now. It's a problem that can be fixed with mindset. You see? You know, for me now, as a young person, I didn't come here with a bunch of money. I'll be honest with you. I've got plans to build a house. I'm waiting for God to show me the way how it's going to be finished. I came here with faith. You know what I mean? I didn't come here with £1 million in the bank, even 10,000 in the bank. You see what I'm saying? But I know that it's possible to do things here, because, to be honest with you, I've seen it. I've seen it. Like I said, you spoke to my father-in-law. He came here with a small amount of money.
Oh, that's your father-in-law?
Yeah.
Okay.
It got chopped. It got chopped. He had zero. He was living in a tent. The only thing he had to his name was his land. And one thing that we can say, even when you go to the village, you realize people have access to land. There's people there with acres and acres of family land. The only difference between my father-in-law and these people is how they're deciding to utilize it now. And this is why I say mentality is everything, because we have the resources here. We do. But the way that we choose to utilize them is different. One thing that I'll say is that, yeah, the mentality in the West is different. It's a very capitalist mindset. So people are thinking, they're thinking of ways to make money out of nothing. Over here, it's a bit more relaxed. So if you have 15 acres of land, you might just slap some corn on there and grow corn and sell the corn, eat what you're gonna eat, you know what I mean, and live a sustainable life. You're not suffering, you're not dying, you're not starving. You have access to make money, but because of your personal decisions, you are not using that land for anything else. There's people now that have gone into business with my father-in-law that have increased their quality of life, because he's brought a mentality and they've brought the resource, i.e. the land, and together now they have made a profitable business. So both people can now thrive economically in Ghana. Everything that it took to make this money was in Ghana, you see? And that's my point. These people don't necessarily have to go to the West to create the money, to make the money and come back here and spend it. That's an option for few. I've spoken to so many people, they've applied so many times to try and go to the West, they've been refused. They've wasted their money applying to try to go to the West. To those people, what do you say? To the people that have tried their hardest to get to the West and they cannot go, what do you say to them? Your life is finished then. If the only way to make it is in the West and you've tried to apply and you've been rejected, that means you have no hope in life. Is that what you're saying?
So before I answer that, I would still advise every young person, especially in Ghana, to take the opportunity. If you're a software engineer, if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you are a writer, content writer.
I understand, to try. But what if you try and you're rejected? What should you do? Should you just give up?
I mean,
or should you try to find a way to make it here?
So if you try and it doesn't work,
not everybody's going to get it.
No. Oh yeah.
There's only so much space there.
So they'll end up miserable and keep being miserable, and it happens. A lot of people try,
and do you know what? And that's exactly what they want you to think.
I know somebody who was a teacher. He's a teacher in Ghana. He's being paid 800 cedis a month. He's teaching. He has tried so many times to travel outside the country and he keeps failing. And you know what he has done for the past 4 years that he was being rejected? He's still teaching, earning the 800 cedis. And he's probably going to do that for the next 5, 10 years, 15 years.
Can I ask you a question? Just a general question, because I don't know. When it comes to these applications to leave, what is the cost? Because I know nothing is free. So what is the cost for these applications?
So it depends on how people leave the country. Some people have family there who can just invite them. So you just pay your visa application fee and go.
Okay.
Some people go to school, so you have to pay your fees to go to school, which I will always recommend.
The school route.
At school, you go into school in UK than you school in Ghana. I mean, do I have to break this down? I don't have to do that, right? Because
No, that was just a question because I was curious to know.
yeah, so people use the education route. People also get married and their spouses can come pick them up.
Yeah.
But in Ghana, people also use other ways to secure visas to go, and that is what makes it expensive. Yeah, so the people going through the back door will have to pay some extra money for people with experience to generate ways and means for them to leave the country.
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot of stuff. But
So all this extra money, don't you think it can be reinvested into something?
what's money? How much is visa
So
application fee?
Jeffrey, you know that there are a lot of foreigners coming into this country and making a lot of money.
Bro, and there are a lot of Ghanaians going to Germany making a lot of money. There are a lot of Ghanaians going to US making money that their generations, their forefathers and their forefathers have not made, and they are making. There are some Ghanaians who lived in Ghana for 40 years and didn't have 100,000 Ghana cedis. My own cousin,
Yes.
he's in UK now. He was like, bro, now I have 6 digits in my account and I've been here for 2 years, and he has stayed in Ghana for 28 years.
What if he's lying to you?
As I see it, the work he's doing, I know. Sometimes I receive some of his payments through my PayPal, so I know.
How much is he spending to upkeep himself there? Because this is a question. These are the things that we need to talk about as well. There's this narrative that if you get to the UK and you earn £3,000 in a month, you get to send £3,000 back home.
Of course not.
No, you have to feed yourself there. You have to house yourself.
It's the same thing in Ghana, bro. If you make 800 cities, first of all, your transportation is 300. It's gone. Now it's left with 500. Do you know 500 cities, £40 a month? You are a married man. You have a wife. You have 3 kids. They go to school Monday to Friday. When each kid is going to school, you need to give them 25 cedis. I'm talking about the reality on the ground, things that is happening now. It's good to be inspired. It's good to be motivated. But go and speak to the taxi driver. Go and speak to the trotro mates. Go and speak to the taxi. Go and speak to them. People are suffering.
I think you.
And you know, this man driving a taxi who is not able to take care of his family will go to Canada and be an Uber driver, and now will be able to send his wife some money for a house rent. Will be able to send his family some money for school.
But you see, on the flip side, there's people that have sold everything that they have to get to the UK, and they've gone to the UK and they haven't been able to make it. There's people that are homeless in the UK.
There are some people who were born in UK to probably a rich dad or a rich mom who are now probably homeless and lost everything. So these things happen in life. But the majority of Ghanaians who have left Ghana, who have made a significant impact in their life and in their family's life, are huge. I have uncles and cousins to testify to this.
And
I saw their life in Ghana. I saw the way their families were living. And I see it now. I see how their wives and their children are living. They are doing so well for themselves, for their home, and for their family.
Thank you, because what I'm trying to say is, why would we not encourage ourselves to build a system that allows people to do that here?
When I encourage a young Ghanaian man to stay in Ghana, what is he going to do? So when I go to the street and tell, yo guys, you guys shouldn't leave Ghana, stay here and work here, what are they going to do, bro?
What percentage of young Ghanaians that apply to leave, what percentage of them make it out? Just guess.
So, in as much as the percentage is low, I would say the people who were able to leave the country is good. I mean, at least it can help them and their family. It is better than no one being able to leave and we are all being here.
This goes back to what you were saying though, about how there's all, like you said, you agree, there's the resources here in Ghana for Ghana.
Tell him some of the nitty-gritty he's going to see when he gets to Europe. Let's say he didn't listen to your advice and he goes. What are some nitty-gritties he's going to experience as a black man?
I want to hear
you know, as you see what he is now, right? What do you think he's going to experience as being in the UK?
Okay, so for example, you going to the UK now, a black man with an African accent, for example. I know your accent is a little bit different, but just for the average person that we're talking about, their English may not be great at all. They may have a lot of knowledge in their head, they may be great at the job, but they get in front of the interviewer, they have their African name, so they were lucky to get past that stage in the first place if there's counterparts with equal experience and European names. That's the first hurdle. Now you're in an interview, and now you're speaking slightly broken English to the person that's interviewing you, and there's other people that can, like you said, that can speak English well, that are closer to the European standard, they're applying for the same job. Do you really believe that Africans are getting the good jobs like that?
Of course not.
No, so many of us are getting jobs, for example, that's paying you £10 an hour. That sounds like a lot of money. But when you have to now rent your own place, feed yourself, pay your gas, electric, water, council tax, what else is there? Transport, you see? When you have to take all of these things into account, you see this old man was talking about that's doing a cleaning job. His job is just about feeding him. If he's gonna send any money back home, he's gonna suffer for it that month, you see? So this is the idea. The idea is that you're gonna go over there, you're not gonna suffer, and you're gonna send money here or whatever. It's false. It's false. There's people struggling. There's people that have committed suicide because they do not know how they're going to make it. You see? It's not as simple as just landing there in the UK, sending the application off, and you've made it. Even to go to university in Ghana, you have to pay. You see? You have to pay. So if you're not going to the UK as a graduate from a top university here, the options are very slim for you. You're not gonna.
I think this is basic everywhere. Like I said, even here in Ghana.
Exactly,
So,
but this is what I'm saying.
So why not suffer here to
No.
make progress?
Yeah, because you go over there and you suffer to make small progress. Yeah.
I'll use my senior brother as an example. He was an excellent student. He graduated from the University of Ghana. He did his master's from KNUST. He was in Ghana with beautiful certificates, and he was just there. Like, I mean, nothing. He has been in the UK for 3 years now. He's working in a very beautiful company, and I mean, he's been respected for his position. So it happens everywhere. If you're in Ghana and you have nothing, you have no knowledge, well, you can say Jimmy for normal. You are going to suffer. Like, yeah, of course. So you need to be like me, like this. I believe and I know if I'm living in a country like UK, I will use my brains because that is what I'm supposed to do. Not like I'm going to dupe or I'm going to do no. I will be in the standard where I will be in the competition with the normal British. And that is how, if you're an African and want to travel outside, you need to have that mentality. Because either ways, there are so many intelligent guys who are here in Ghana who are suffering anyways.
But you see, there's so many intelligent guys who are here in Ghana who have found a way out as well. Okay, let me ask you honestly. Can you tell me that nobody that grows up in a poor family here in Ghana has made it? Nobody.
I mean, no. I mean,
there's people that have made it.
Yes.
So that's evidence that it's possible to make it here in Ghana, full stop. So if you have the intelligence, if you have the will, you can make it. Why do we not encourage that? You see? This is why I say going to the UK in some cases for some people is the easy way out. Because you have the knowledge, you have the talent, you have the possibility to be great in your homeland. But in order to get rich quick, you decide that you want to leave. This is the mindset that doesn't serve Ghana. The business that this young, brilliant man could make in Ghana, that he could eventually be employing 100 Ghanaian people and helping them, you see? He's going to take that energy, that innovation to Europe, and he's going to make them even richer, as if they're not rich enough off of the back of places like Ghana. This is what I mean. I understand what you're saying. It's the easy, if you can make it, it's the easy way out. But it's the easy way out that doesn't serve your people in the long term at all. At all. Why not set up things? Why not set up situations in Ghana that can make Ghanaians great? You see? Like you said, I come from the UK. I could have stayed over there, you know, and just lived a decent life, used my money and, you know, just live comfortable and be happy. But there's nothing to be proud of.
Why is it?
Shall I tell you why? Shall I tell you why? Because shall I tell you why? Because when I'm in Ghana and I see that there's people suffering, I understand that these people are not suffering just because they're stupid or useless. They're suffering because of systems that have been put in place long before they were ever even born. Exactly. So why would I not spend
my... And they can't do anything about it.
Exactly. So those of us that have the knowledge of what's been done to these people, that have the knowledge that if you have the talent, if you have the skills and the will, you can create something here. Why would I not come here and use my energy to create something that can help these people? Why would I just take the easy route, go over there, live my life, pay all my money over there, let them have all the benefit of the hard work that I'm doing? Why would I do that?
So what I would say is traveling abroad has helped Ghana as a country a lot, because all those beautiful houses that you see at East Legon here in Cantonments, the owners are people who have lived in Toronto, New York, New Zealand for 5 years. The normal average Ghanaian who grew up in Ghana cannot boast of a property in
And shall I tell you why? Because you see all these nights, you go to East Legon Hills, for example, you see all these lovely houses that's been built. There's clearly a lot of money in the area.
Exactly.
And you can bump your head on the car as you're driving down the road.
Yes.
Because they also brought the mentality from Europe as well. Every man for himself. Why is there a row of houses that millions were spent on to build, but people can't come together and make the road better so that the people, that they have their businesses, their small business on the side of the road, they can have more traffic through? It's the mentality.
So that is the reason why I'm encouraging people not to stay here. I get it. It's good to think about people, but why do I have to? First of all, my wife is hungry. My children are hungry. Why should I think about you and your house? I need to think about myself first. My house is shaking and I'm now going to think about, I'm now going to think to be a good Ghanaian youth. First of all, my wife hasn't eaten. My son is hungry. I need to think about myself. And what is the way? It's to be in Germany cleaning the toilet. I will make money, send them at the end of every month. They can eat. Maybe this time when I give my wife 1,000 cedis, I'm like, you see that guy next door who is hungry? Give him 500 cedis because he's suffering. And that guy will call me and say, boss, thank you. Because, you know, for the whole 4 months, I've not seen 500 cedis. Because
and then when that 500 cedis runs out and you realize that you can't be giving this guy 500, 500, 500, he has to go back to the life of suffering.
By the time I do Ghana well, for Ghana to be well, for him to enjoy, he might be dead.
This is what I'm saying.
So it's better to give him 500 today.
This is what
for him to die
but
tomorrow.
you see, this is what I'm saying. It's not about you by yourself, you Jeffrey, changing the whole of Ghana. This is why we have to change our mindset as a people, because you Jeffrey now, you set up the business that you can employ this guy and you can give him 500 Ghana a month. Let's say he was earning nothing. You can give him that 500 Ghana monthly, guaranteed, as part of a system. He now has the tool to feed himself and his family, and depending on how kind of an employer you are, the more successful your business is, the more you can afford to pay your people, the more people you can elevate out of a system of poverty. That's the idea. We need to build systems that serve us Africans. Right now, us Africans are running to systems that benefit Europeans.
I think it's beneficial.
Let's talk about money a little bit. How much money do you think you can make living here in Ghana a year, with a hassle and everything?
As a normal Ghanaian, you won't make up to 2,000 Ghana cedis
a year.
A year. I'm talking about reality.
Okay. How much money do you think you can make in the UK a year?
In the UK a year? I would say for the average person in the UK, you're probably looking at about maybe 20,000
a year.
And that's if
Do
you're
you
working.
know how much that is?
Wait, let me finish, because that 20,000, that's working full time, first and foremost. You do not have any time to do a side business and all of this stuff for some of these people. Then the money that you're going to be spending on rent, let's say you have 2 children, that's a modest number. 2 children, so you need at least a 2-bedroom house. Let's say, and this is London we're talking about. You need a 2-bedroom house. Your rent now is probably, if you're not on the council, your rent now is probably going to be minimum 700 to 800 pounds a month. Now, let's do the maths. That's, let's say, between 8 and 9,000 pounds a year. So that's 20,000 pounds. You have 9,000 pounds gone. You're down to 11,000 pounds. You still have to pay for gas. You see it in the UK, cost of living crisis. Have you heard of them talking about that? Just before we left the UK, it was winter. Just to keep the house warm, so that it's healthy for your children to be living there. We were spending, how much was it? Okay, spending a good £300 a year or a month. So you're spending £300 a month on gas to keep your house warm. You see, £300 a month, times that by 12 now. What is that? Helping with the maths. 3,000. About 5 to 6,000 pounds a year. That's to keep your house warm. So you see how you started with that figure of 20,000 pounds. Now you spent 9,000 on the rent. Now you spend another 5 to 6,000 on the gas. You have to borrow money just to survive.
So how much money do you think you can make in the UK when you go?
I can make a lot.
How much? Give me a figure.
I can make more than 80,000 pounds.
80,000.
Regardless of what he said to you.
Okay, how?
How?
See, just not to put other people in trouble, I would try to summarize this answer and try to be smart about it. Like I said,
Legally.
bro,
Because how
and a legal person in Ghana as a teacher is making 800 cedis a month. Let's go legally. Wait, let me bring out my phone. Let me do the calculation. Now let's go legally.
But legally, you
no. I want us to go legally because this is happening. I know somebody who is doing this. Let me go legally. So legally, a Ghanaian teacher makes 800 cedis a month times 12. That is 9,600 cedis. 9,600 cedis. Bro, it's not even up to £1,000. This is what a teacher makes a year in Ghana. He's married. He has 2 kids or 3. His children has to go to school too. So how much do you think he's even going to make a month? This money a month in Ghana, here in Accra, isn't even enough for me. 9,600 cedis. It's not even enough for me, but this is someone's yearly salary. A married man, and you're complaining about £20,000.
But this is what we're saying. The reason why the 9,600, if he had the 9,600 and he had 0 financial obligations, he'll be able to survive. If you're earning £20,000 and you have 0 financial obligations, you can survive. But the reality is that that's not how it is. You have to pay. You have outgoing.
Reality.
So just because the number is 20,000, don't focus on that. You have to focus on the number that's left after you've taken care of your responsibilities. That's the number that is yours to play with. You see, that's the reality.
You know, this conversation is very interesting. You know, Kay has lived it. Okay, he's in the system. Now, obviously, Jeffrey is seeing the Hollywood version of UK. No, that's what I think it is. And most, not even just Jeffrey, but most Ghanaians, you know, see the Hollywood version of America and not actually the typical. You know, in US, people are homeless. I want
to answer this question. I'll use myself as an example. I lived in China with you. Let me talk about myself. As of 2017, 2018, my monthly salary in China was around 18,000 Ghana cedis as of now. There was free accommodation, free Wi-Fi, and nothing. And everything. My colleagues, teachers who were qualified, probably had TESOL, went to teacher training school in Ghana for 3 years, were making 800 cedis. That is 9,600. That is half of the money I made a month. And this is the money they made a year. So this is something that was happening real. So if my brother wants to be a teacher in Ghana and wants to be a teacher in China, what would you rather have me advise him to do? Knowing perfectly well that I was a teacher in China making 18,000.
So why did you leave that opportunity?
Coronavirus happened, and then, I mean, you understand, I would have probably still been in China and I'll probably be visiting Ghana in my Range Rover, and I'll see my fellow teachers walking the distance on their bicycles. I'm like, are you a teacher? Yeah, I'm also a teacher. I jump and say 1, 2, 3, just one. You know, in China, we don't even do syllables. We just teach red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green. And at the end of the month, I get my 18,000. A Ghanaian math teacher will do pi r square, multiplication, and this and that and that. Yeah. His head is cracking. His wife is pregnant. There is no food at home. He comes to school. Everybody put your head on the table, lash the hose like it's total madness.
Genuinely, I just want to ask you, because I'm Nigerian.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm your cousin from just over there. Now, knowing that you were in China, and due to the system that's in place, you were able to have such a comfortable life. Why would you not want that? Why would you not want or fight for that system to be the same in Ghana?
We cannot be.
Why?
How?
Why? Shall I tell you why?
I asked your father-in-law how. He couldn't answer me. How? Look at Ghana, you see it. And I'm telling you, I really wish you go to other regions in Ghana. Don't think Accra is Ghana. Accra is a beautiful place. When you see Osu, there are people here in Osu who don't know what other people are going through. Bro, I've had the privilege to travel to some other regions in Ghana.
Did you ask yourself then? Because I know when you went to China, it's not the fact that everybody is living there's the village in China as well.
But they're living a normal life. I mean,
what is a normal life for them? What is a normal life for the people?
When something happened to him, he called 911. There will be an ambulance from the nearest city to come take him.
This is out there in the village?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. You went to the village.
No.
Because I know there's people suffering in China. There's people.
You wouldn't even get that privilege in Accra. Let something happen here. I dare you, call the ambulance right now and scream. Say somebody's dying. Check the time and see how long the ambulance will take to get here. And when he get here, listen to the rubbish they'll tell you. They don't care about you. They'll tell you probably have to fill the tank of the ambulance before they go to the...
So as a Ghanaian, as somebody that... Everybody around here, these are your people. These are your people. Without these other people around, these are the people that help you become who you are. This is correct, no? So you're happy for them to stay in this system while you, one or two or three of you, can go over there and enjoy a good life.
That's why I said they should go.
You told me that the reason why Ghana's suffering is because you have men that's taking the blocks out of their house, you know, only thinking about their nuclear family. What makes you so different?
Bro, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah put his life down for Ghanaians. Where did it end him? He's gone, and here we are.
And at whose behest was all of this happening?
I am not here to be the hero. And why do I have to be the hero? Like I said, in the reality of the matter, the person who needs to motivate his brother has a pregnant wife who hasn't eaten for 2 days. How can he even motivate his other brother to be African, to love Africa? Meanwhile, there's another African brother who's in Germany who has probably posted on his WhatsApp.
But you see the problem here. The problem is that with this mentality, with this reality,
exactly,
Africans thinking this way with their home in this state, it will never ever change.
We know
that means that for every million Africans, you're gonna have maybe 1,000 that are going to have a good life, and the rest of them have to suffer for their life. Does that make sense? Me, it's a numbers thing for me. It doesn't make sense for 1 million to suffer and 1,000 to live happily. It doesn't make sense. In my mind, a system in which the majority of that million can thrive, that is what we need to work towards. Because just because you have the skills that you have now, it's not a guarantee that your great-grandchild is going to be like you.
So
your great-grandchild may not be as intelligent as you. He may not have the same network as you. He may not have the same work rate as you, for example. Does that mean that he should suffer?
So the best I can do for my children and my grandchildren is to take them out of Ghana. Because for all you know, if someday I die, some rich man can just pay the police around and they can come and just evacuate them from the house I even built for them.
Exactly.
Because this is a country with no working system. Do you know, when you go to the courts, there are people who are being judged for not even doing anything, just because the other person had money. I know it happens in the Western countries when the whites are trying to do it, but in Ghana it's ugly. It happens on a.
Bro, you know in America, and after the end of slavery, black people, they created communities. They had thriving communities. You see Central Park in New York. That was a thriving black. Community. Do you know what they did? They came there, they killed them all off, and they built a park on their community. That's what they did. There's so many places. There's lakes in America that are literally the burial grounds of African American communities. That after slavery, they fought and they created their systems, and they were thriving. And these people came, killed them off, and flooded their communities and made lakes. There's people. You see what I'm saying? So now we as Africans, we want to run to those places, those same places, for us to have a better life. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. We need to.
We had, this is a good, back and forth learning, and we are having a good conversation. We are almost at the end of it. I want you guys to be able to say your final words and just wrap it up. Do you think are you going to listen to all this advice that he's someone who's living in the UK? He was born there. As a matter of fact, Jeffrey, listen to it very carefully. Okay, he was born there, and then he's telling you that what you think it is, it's not what exactly.
Bro, I was born here. I went through the education system here. I went through high school here. I'm not bragging, but the things we have been through in Ghana, so many Americans would die if they went through. I mean, there were some of our classmates who died in secondary school. Why? The system is hard. Like everywhere is hot. So I was also born here. So I know.
You don't think there's also economic hardship in the US and the UK?
So my last words would be reality. Considering my life right now and considering my 5 other brothers, him, whoever, if you take 5 of us right now, the only solution to our problem is us traveling abroad.
The only solution. It's the only one.
Listen, it is the reality, bro. See, no.
The only solution is not possible to thrive unless you leave the country.
Do you know how many graduates? Bro, I have a little business I'm running. So sometimes there are vacancies.
In Ghana?
Yeah, in Ghana. So sometimes there are vacancies. I'm like, I'm hiring 2 girls, graduate. Bro, if you see the CVs, these girls, these boys, good students, they have everything to be working, doing better things for themselves. There is nothing for them to do. What should they do? 1, they don't even have the capital to set up a business. 2, there is no working system to help them. 3, if they want to find a job, the manager either wants to sleep with them or have something to do with them before they get them employed. I have helped people get jobs in New Zealand, Australia, and their lives are doing well. So if you tell me now and other 5 people to choose a better way for ourselves, bro, give me a visa. Give me a visa. Let me be an Uber driver in New York. Give me 5 years. I'll come back to Ghana. You see me. Compare me to an Uber driver who is here in Ghana driving for 5 years and see if you can tell. I can come to Ghana, nobody will even know I was an Uber driver. I can come to Ghana, nobody even knows I'm working in a restaurant because the drip I would drip.
So let's say you go to the UK and then you clean the toilet, and then you come to Ghana and then obviously you have the money, you are driving a Range Rover, and that poor little boy asks you, like, how do you make your money? What will you say?
I'm a hustler.
Let me ask you. Let me.
I would have been a hustler in Ghana too.
Bro, can I tell you something?
I would have been a hustler in Ghana too.
You see when you talk about Uber?
Right now in Ghana, I'm a hustler.
You see the cars that some people are doing Yango, some people are doing Bolton. The cars rickety. They're still allowed to. They can still able to make money. You think that you can just go to the UK and say you want to be an Uber driver, and then the car's just gonna drop on the floor?
I mean, no.
You know, if you want to be an Uber driver, your car has to be minimum. Probably now, maybe minimum 2017. Do you know how much it costs to buy the car? How can somebody that, like you're saying, is struggling here in Ghana, just land in the UK and find themselves a car that's worthy to, fits the standard for them to be driving?
And do you know the funny thing? The Ghanaians who want to travel, most of them are rich. There are Ghanaians who have $50,000, $70,000 in their account right now. And they look at Ghana and they think that if they do investment in Ghana, they are going to lose. This is a reality. This person will go to New York or UK and
50,000. They got 50,000.
Yeah.
And they're worried that they're going to lose it. So what about the foreigners that came with less than that and they came to Ghana and they're rich now? They're millionaires. What about them?
You see, the foreigners always do have the benefits, and it's happening, but maybe you may not see it. But like I'm saying, we are sitting here.
There must be an out.
With 50.
So what if you partner with someone you think that has a benefit in order for you to get a benefit?
I may have the privilege because I know you and now I'm meeting him and now I'm meeting her, so I may have the privilege. How about the trotro driver? You see, we always forget about them, but they are the ones going through the real hardship in the country. So if you want to motivate somebody, it's not me, because me, at least I may say I can know my left.
Your mindset is what is.
I'm thinking as the average Ghanaian youth.
Not even to be rude, but there's people that have made it in Ghana with less resources than you. So maybe they're just more industrious.
They're probably doing very. You see the guys at the Galamsey, if they put their hands on you, bro. The guy is lifting 50 kg of pickers every day. He's going like 200. If he slaps you, your brain will reset. That kind of hard work, if you do, you get money. Yeah,
okay,
of course.
So you're saying it's possible to make money, but you have to work very, very hard.
But you have to be that guy.
For how long? Because some people, I understand what you're saying.
And you're comparing that to cleaning the toilets? No, of course not.
Yeah, but you see what you're saying? Cleaning the toilet at the end of the month, because you have to pay to live there, the cleaning the toilets money is not going to be
you will not
have the money to send back.
Bro, see,
this is
like,
what I'm
like
telling
I'm
you.
saying, I'm a Ghanaian, I'm in Ghana, I'm the Ghanaian society. I probably speak with the local people. People are dying from this job. When they after work, they are using all their money for painkillers. People are dying because it's a lot of work. It's you have to die to make it. We are like in a jungle. It's true. We may be in the city with beautiful cars and buildings, but it's really hard.
But okay, so I say my experience. I've been in Accra, I've seen Accra. I've also seen the village, you know, and there's people in the village, they may not have an iPhone, they may not have a car, but they will never go hungry. They're part of a community, they're living a natural life, they're eating better food than the majority of us here in Accra. You see,
and they will never learn anything.
Huh?
They'll only know what.
But they are not suffering. They are not suffering. If your whole motivation is to not suffer, then we cannot ignore the people that are not suffering here in Ghana. If you want to live in the city and you're living in the city by choice and you want to be a billionaire, you want to live in a apartment suite and you want to have a Lamborghini, there's a chance that you may suffer on your way to that. But if you don't want to, if you want to live a healthy life, you want to live happily, you can do that in places in Ghana. These things, some of these things are choices. You see what I'm saying? It's not always the fact that this place is hopeless. This place may be hopeless.
I mean, of course,
if you want to live
I'm
like a
not saying it's
European,
hopeless.
you may have to go to Europe. If you want to be African, if you want to live as an African with African values and be healthy, and there's so many places you can do that here. You can't.
Now, send a final message to even Ghanaians watching this, okay, who've heard you, and then, you know, send a message to Ghanaians watching you right now.
So to all the Ghanaians watching this, I would say that there's so much, that people have so much to gain from you believing that your situation is hopeless. So because so many of us feel that our homeland is hopeless, we leave it and we open space for outsiders to come and benefit off of our homeland. What we need to do is start changing our mindset towards our home, start changing our mindset towards wealth, and opening our minds to things like collaboration. If one person cannot make it by himself, why can he not make it with 3 or 4 of his friends? This is what we need to start thinking. It's not impossible. Just because you don't want to do it that way doesn't mean it's not possible. You see? Let me not go too much.
My final words too?
Yes.
So what I would say is, just imagine if Thomas Partey was still playing Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and just imagine if Mohamed Kudus was still playing Accra House of Folk. See the difference. Because Thomas Partey is playing Arsenal, he is who he is today. So you would
Where
never.
Where was he born and raised?
He was born and raised in Ghana.
Okay, and how did he make it to Arsenal?
Do you think there are no better players than him in Ghana?
Of course there is.
Good, but
do you think there's no better players than him in the UK?
I mean, I get it.
There's boys that don't make it. It's 0.1% that make it to the professional.
So if I were Thomas Partey, would I rather prefer to play for Liberty Professional, or would he rather prefer to play for Arsenal?
You see, and this is why Thomas Partey needs to come home and invest in the football system in his country, so that so much more of the talent can rise up and find a way.
Do you know how many people are investing in football? Do you know how many people are investing in football now, bro? Do you know how many people?
And it's not going to change in one day. I see Asamoah Gyan, he's doing his
exactly.
thing.
So
exactly. So you have to.
If I am in Asamoah Gyan's football academy, why do I have to waste 15 years following him while I can just be a pro star when I went outside Ghana? Why stay in Ghana? Living in Ghana, you just waste your time.
He should quit. He should leave all the
Bro,
boys.
it's not about quitting. You know,
boys are making it because of him.
Traveling from Ghana to abroad is you not quitting. If you stay in Ghana, it's you quitting, because if you apply for the visa twice and you are being refused, and you go back to your 800 cedis a month, that is you quitting. If I don't quit and I go to China and I'm getting 18,000 Ghana cedi a month, it's me making it. It's me going forward. And you who is an Ghanaian staying activist in Ghana, is you quitting, because you will end up for the rest of your life taking 800 cedis, and your wife will end up having other men's children because you can't even take care of them. It's the reality. I'm talking
You
about.
think people's wives are having other men's children in the West?
It's not because of money.
Yeah. Oh, is it not?
It's not. It's not.
Is it not?
It's because of shaggy reasons.
Hey, don't come and get yourself cancelled, because there's boys suffering over there.
I mean, I get it,
suffering,
but bro, we all understand that the opportunity.
We are having a very interesting conversation, and yeah, this interesting, and guys, time may not permit us. We would have, kept it going. But send a message to the diaspora and watch it, because I know that a lot of people want to move back. They see the light. They know there's more opportunities down here, because other ethnicities are coming here, opening restaurants, and they're making the money.
Yeah. So my message to the diasporans is, come home. But when you come home, remember that sometimes living like a king is worth nothing if you're looking at your brothers and sisters and they don't have the same standard of life. When you come home, make sure that if it's possible for you, you do what you can to help the people around you as well. That's my message.
Guys, this is very interesting. If you enjoyed it, okay, I'm serious. YouTube saying 89% of you guys watching this video is not subscribing. Okay, you have to be ashamed of yourself if you watch this video and you don't click the subscribe button. I'm being serious. Unless obviously you don't like it, then obviously just skip by. And if it's your first time, my name is Hayford, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, share to friends and family, and support Diaspora Moving Back and all this YouTube channel. The sky is the limit for what we can do as black people. We talk about what black people can do, the possibilities and stuff like that. So if it's something that you actually like, just share, okay? And go check them out. They do have a YouTube channel. Okay, you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, so our YouTube channel is Back to Africa. That's BK to Africa. And yeah, we're documenting our journey, moving back to the motherland. and trying to help people make the same move and giving them as many of the tools that we have to do so successfully.
All right, so the name is going to be on the screen, and also the link is in the description. If you want to reach out to him, his contact info, everything is down there. You can either reach out to him from his YouTube channel or the link in the description. And how do people find you? You also have a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah. It's Akosa. We just talk about normal social activities. But can I say my last final words? Yeah, he had the opportunity to say his last words. So he was talking about you living as a king with other people not living as a king. You should try and help people. The best thing you should do as a youth in Ghana, if you look at your brothers, you are all suffering for the last 10 years. If you get a visa, go. And then come and take them too. Let them go. You all should enjoy. That is where you make the money. If you try to get motivated by living in Ghana, before you see you are 62 and you're still in Ghana with nothing, I'll be back with a lot of money because I took the right decision. It's good to be motivated, but Ghana is designed against you.
I remember what he said.
If you can't, the reality.
If your visa application gets rejected, then you have to give up. You'll never make it.
I mean, because
guys, thank you so much for watching, and it's been a wonderful episode. Guys, let's say bye-bye to them. All right, peace out.
All right, guys, thank you.
Peace out.